Florida Sun, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series kicked off its 23-race season. And as expected, the 2002 debut in Daytona proved to be a pure race fan's delight. For the past 2 years, many people said this may have been the best race in all the speed races. Guys, right now, I can't disagree. This is awesome racing at Daytona. They are side by side. Here comes Robert Pressley. His very first ever NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series start. Whoa, 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 whoa. Trouble in the back straightaway. Hard into the wall. Goes to 60 truck with Travis Koppel. 5, 6, 7 trucks involved. They come down, and the Florida Dodge Dealer 250 goes to Dodge. And Robert Pressley.
Oh, and he was the man at Daytona, and he seems to have brought that momentum to a track that he's got a ton of experience at. Robert, how's your experience here going to help you find victory lane?
I tell you, that's what you've got to have to win here. You got to have a good race car, but the experience will pay off. And there's a couple drivers here got it, so we're hoping ours will pay off.
The only driver in today's field with not one, but 2 prior wins. Robert Pressley just may be the man at Darlington today.
After picking up 3 consecutive USAC Midget titles and a USAC Silver Crown Championship, Jason Leffler made his way to NASCAR, and boy, has he done it in style. In his Busch Series rookie season, he picked up 3 poles. Then he went to Winston Cup and captured a pole, and now it's the trifecta, folks. He is on the pole here at Darlington with a new track record. And Jason, you have a relative amount of inexperience at this racetrack, and you've got some guys behind you who have a lot of experience, like your teammate Ted Musgrave, Kenny Schrader, and Robert Pressley. So how do you hold them off and win this race?
I just have to rely on Timmy Cahoot and the rest of this Ultra Motorsports crew to make up for my inexperience. You know, the Team ASC CarQuest truck's been awesome all this week, and hopefully, you know, we'll just be patient, run our own race, and see what happens at the end.
Okay, Jason Leffler in his 3rd career start on the pole.
ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports, presents NASCAR. Today from historic Darlington Raceway in Darlington, South Carolina, we celebrate the 75th anniversary of our series title sponsor with our coverage of the Craftsman Anniversary 200. Hello, everyone. I'm Jerry Punch, along with Busch Series and Winston Cup veteran Phil Parsons. Glad to have you with us. Phil, what a transition from the high banks and high speeds of Daytona to the tight treachery of Darlington, the track too tough to tame. Now, you've raced hundreds of laps here. Why is this track such a nightmare for drivers?
Doc, this racetrack was built well over 50 years ago. It's odd shaped. It's very narrow. Most of the racetracks we go to, you run right against the bottom of the racetrack. This racetrack, you run right up against the wall, so the margin for error is so slight. And if you make a little mistake, bam, you're in the wall.
At Daytona, we saw several series newcomers run up front and finish well. What are the chances of that happening here today?
Well, Doc, it could happen, but I've got to put my money on the veterans, guys like Musgrave, like Pressley, Kevin Harvick, and Kenny Schrader. Those are the guys we need to watch today.
Well, last year, a series rookie bucked Darlington tradition here. Travis Koppel ran second most of the afternoon, only to fade in a late pit stop and finished in 6th spot. And today, fastest rookie qualifier, Bill Lester, bears watching as he makes it only his 8th career Truck Series start. Lester knows now when they say all future stars of NASCAR earn their stripes at Darlington. Leads him down from the pole, and beside him, winningest driver last year in NASCAR Craftsman Trucks, Ted Musgrave. Back in row 2, there's a Daytona winner, Robert Pressley, making just his 2nd start, and Dennis Setzer, a series veteran, coming off a win last year. Tough luck at Daytona, though. Mike Bliss back full-time in the IWX Motor Freight Chevrolet. Beside him, last year's Rookie of the Year, Travis Koppel. Back in row 4, Terry Cook from 20th all the way to 6th at Daytona. He could be a factor today. Ran awfully well in practice. And John Wood, yeah, the 3rd-generation Wood brothers, just 20 years of age. And back in row 5, David Starr from Houston, Texas, and Kenny Schrader making the first of 10 starts this year on the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Tour.
Row 6, we have last year's Busch Grand National champion Kevin Harvick on the inside, and Rick Crawford 4th here last year. Row 7, on the inside, top qualifying rookie Billy Lester, and Matt Crafton was 8th here last year. Row 8, Trent Owens, his best career start in 15th, and on the outside, Brendan Gaughan, Winston West champion the last 2 years. Row 9, Land Super, new sponsor, Diamond Cut Jeans on board. And Brian Rose, a strong third at Daytona about a month ago. Row 10, we have the 9th and 10th place finishes at Daytona, Jason Small and Lance Norick.
As you look at the rest of the field, there's J.D. Gibbs, oldest son of Joe and Pat Gibbs, older brother to Coy Gibbs, who starts inside row 12. Out-qualified his younger brother. We'll think you hear about that later on in the year. Joe Ruttman, 13-time winner. Steve Portengate coming back full-time. The NASCAR Craftsman Trucks. There's the veteran Morgan Shepherd. 4 Winston Cup wins to his credit. Jonathan Prost making a start. Ryan McGlynn coming on board. Randy McDonald, a top 15 finish at Daytona. Lonnie Richardson, good story about who's helping him across the pit wall. Wayne Edwards and Larry Gunzelman brings the Mike Mittler machine. 6 different drivers missed the field, didn't qualify. There's a look at those that didn't qualify. Now let's get up close and personal and meet the 4 drivers who will carry our onboard cameras here today.
Hey everybody, my name is Lance Norick. I drive the number 90 Express Personnel Chevrolet. Don't leave your seats because this is going to be the most exciting ride you've ever taken.
Hi, I'm Ken Schrader, and you're riding along with me in the Federated Auto Parts Chevrolet. Buckle up. Gets pretty exciting out there every once in a while.
Hi, I'm Ted Musgrave, driver of the number 1 Mopar Dodge. Why don't you come ride along with me? My other passenger got sick, bailed out.
Hi, I'm Jason Leffler, driver of the Team ASE CarQuest Dodge. Hang on to your roll cage.
Well, hang on, folks. Here we go. 147 laps, 200 miles at Darlington. The track too tough to tame as Jimmy Howell waves the green flag. Side by side, Schrader, the veteran, up high on the outside of the youngster John Wood in turn 4 to complete lap number 1. And a little puff of smoke out of the Mopar Dodge of Ted Musgrave.
I don't see it right there. It is right there going in the corner. You see a little smoke. Looks like he's got a left rear tire rub. They must have made some adjustments to the truck. Got the left rear a little bit low. That should get better as the air pressure builds up in the tires.
Ted Musgrave, the pole center at Daytona, finished second down there to Robert Presley, running second right now to his teammate Jason Leffler. Really see the smoke coming out of the back now. That fender rubbing. Will he have enough time for that pressure to build up before it rubs that tire pretty significantly?
Well, we hope so, Doc. It depends on where it's rubbing the tire. If it's rubbing on the sidewall, he's got quite a bit of time. But if it's rubbing in the tread of the tire, maybe not. But it will get better, but how soon, I'm not sure.
There's Robert Presley back in third. Dennis Setzer in the 46. The Axiom Chevy is fourth. Then comes Waffle in the Cat Rental Machine. Mike Bliss in the 16 of Steve Coulter. And there is Kevin Harvick. The Snap-on Chevrolet for Kevin Harvick, reigning Winston Cup Rookie of the Year and Busch Grand National Series champion. Harvick making his 71st start in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Still looking for win number 1.
He didn't waste any time on the start of the race. I noticed he drove down underneath David Starr before they ever got to turn 1 on the start of the race. He wants to get that win bad.
Battle for 10th between Starr and Wood. John Wood in the 50, the Navy-sponsored truck for Jack Roush. Spears Manufacturing number 75 for Stars back there. Rick Crawford. Here comes Crawford in the 14 trying to make a move with Matt Crafton right behind him.
As we said earlier, Rick Crawford had a great run here last year, finishing in the 4th position. Trent Owens making a move underneath Billy Lester going into turn number 1.
3 trucks on your screen. Left side is John Wood. Middle of your screen, David Starr. Then the 14 is Crawford. Behind him,
Matt Crafton, I think, in the 88 truck.
Meanwhile, back up front, take a look out of the rear cam of the Team ASE CarQuest Dodge for Jason Leffler. That's about 2 truck lengths back to his teammate Ted Musgrave. And the rookie driver had such a great run in Daytona. The 07 spinning around. That is Jason Small out of Bakersfield, California. Sunbelt Reynolds Chevrolet will bring out caution for the first time today here at Darlington.
Got a flat right front tire there and a little slight amount of damage to the right front, but he'll be able to get that beat back out. I think he's going to stay on the lead lap, so he'll get in, get 4 tires, and be back in the hunt. So look what happened there. He kept coming off of turn number 2 there. See him going to make slight contact with the inside wall right there. Not enough to do a great deal of damage. You see the truck just turned sideways there. Looks like he probably had a rear tire going down.
Just out of turn 4 there as he spun around, and Jason, who had that great run in Daytona, coming from 26th to finish 9th. Leading rookie contender right now in the Ray Vestas Rookie of the Year point standings out of Bakersfield, California. There's a left rear tire down as you take a look at our leader from the 2nd place truck of Ted Musgrave. Remember, on the green flag, we saw smoke from a tire rubbing on the left rear of Ted Musgrave's truck, and you got to wonder, now Ted Musgrave's crew chief is your old crew chief, Gene Need, and I understand probably Gene did want that pressure down.
A little bit of a vibration here.
It was Eddie Thrapp, Ted Musgrave's spotter. Ted was complaining about a little bit of a vibration, but doesn't look like they're going to pit. I know they don't want to pit. They desperately want to stay out on the racetrack. They don't want to give up this track position. It's way too early to stop, put tires on it, so they do not want to give up this track position.
All right, we are under caution for the first time of day. There's the Mopar crew ready to go if Ted Musgrave were to make an entry on the pit road. Back in a moment. And they're waving the black flag at one truck going by. The back part of the window net has come out of the one truck at about lap 10. Looks like the window net will come down. Here comes Musgrave down pit road.
Back here, right there. Only one down. We'll get it back. Leaders going into 3. We're never going to win the championship. Sorry, but we will work on it.
And that was a year ago in Ted Musgrave's very first visit to Darlington in a NASCAR Craftsman truck. He logged his worst finish of the year, 31st here, and had problems all day long. And now at the beginning of this race, Ray, they're concerned a little about a tire rub.
Not too much, Jerry. Gene Need, his crew chief, said they had started with low air pressure on that right rear and not to worry about it. It'll build up quick. Keep in mind now we've got bright sunshine, but this race will end in the shade. So these guys have been a little bit loose in turns 3 and 4, but that end of the track will tighten up as we go through the day.
All right, Ray, thank you very much. Apparently they're not that concerned because the air pressure will build up, and we'll keep an eye on that for Ted Musgrave. Here's a challenge.
Dennis Setzer got a poor start there on the restart. Allowed Mike Bliss and Kevin Harvick to go by. Now Kenny Schrader's gone by.
Setzer in the 46, the Axiom Chevrolet there. There's Schrader, the 52, the Federated Auto Parts Chevy. And a lead change out of turn 4. Ted Musgrave will lead here on lap 10 after his teammate led the first 9. I've got to believe that's a teammate deal for some points.
I think that's very possible. We may see Ted pull over and let Jason back by, but now Ted's got an awfully good truck. Was awfully good Wednesday in the open practice days, so very close to the wall coming off right there.
They better not play too much because Robert Presley is back there on a mission.
Robert's not playing with their game.
No. You guys go ahead and play because I'm coming in a hurry.
Ted's opened up a nice little lead right now. He's got about a half a dozen truck lengths on Jason right now.
So it's Musgrave, then Leffler, the pole sitter. The 18 is Robert Presley, the Bobby Hamilton Dodge. Side-by-side action back in the pack. That's Morgan Shepherd in the 21 trying to go beneath, and he does make a pass on Coy Gibbs. There's Joe Ruttman in the 28 truck. There's Ruttman making a pass. Whoa.
We talked about how narrow that track was. Joe and Coy made contact coming off turn number 2.
And that will bring out caution for the second time.
Track's clear. Look for debris against the outside wall.
Here on lap 13, Joe Ruttman, who was driving for Jim Rosenblum for the first time ever. The FDNY stands for Fire Department New York. All the proceeds going to the widows and children of the lost firemen up at the World Trade Center. So it was a very special day for this group, and now a very tough beginning of this race.
Watch them come off turn 2. You see the red truck on the inside. gets into Coy Gibbs, and it kind of forces Joe into the outside wall.
And you see some of the firemen there. Those are pit crew members that are wearing the actual helmet and gear that they secured from some of these guys are actually firemen in New York from some of those that were up at the World Trade Center. And they wanted to come here and run this truck because their mission was to make their money, and all proceeds going to the Widows and Children's Fund of the FDNY. This truck is named Ground Zero, fitted by crew members wearing actual FDNY fire suits. Lieutenant Mike Balnick on hand along with the owner Jim Rosenblum, who by the way is a builder up in Westchester County, New York. So caution out for the second time a day. This incident coming off of turn 2.
It's just so narrow there coming off turn 2, Doc, and Joe kind of slid up a little bit. Coy was there. He had not quite cleared him, and they made contact, and it sent Joe into the outside wall. Great job by Steve Portengate to get by Joe Ruppin there without making any contact.
And Coy Gibbs just held his line. He was in line. I guess Joe maybe thought he had him cleared. And if you're Coy, you didn't do anything wrong.
You really didn't. Coy did not pull up and run into Joe. Joe just thought he had him cleared, and obviously did.
Well, there's the damage on the right front of the Rosenblum Chevrolet. Caution for the second time today at Darlington. This impact. Joe Ruppin in the wall. Back with the green flag in just a moment. 3 races at getting set for the restart here at Darlington, South Carolina. And Ted Musgrave will lead him down on lap 15 after working caution for 3 laps.
Kevin Harvick looking on the inside of Mike Bliss. Wisely backs off the throttle. We saw what happened last time 2 trucks went side by side through turn 2.
Got 3 Dodges and a pair of Chevrolets. That's the top 5 here. You're riding along. Speaking of Chevrolets, Kenny Schrader in the Federated Auto Parts Chevy. Kenny finished 2nd here last year, now being shown in 6th position. Has gained 4 spots. So it's 3 Dodges, then 3 Chevrolets. That's the top 6 here at Darlington.
Jason Leffler able to stay right with Ted Musgrave on this restart. I've been watching Ted Musgrave's truck for smoke. I don't see any smoke. So Ray was right. Gene Need said they're not too worried about it. The air pressure is going to build up and they'll be just fine.
Well, Musgrave getting a challenge from his teammate here, Jason Leffler. Behind them, it's heating up a little bit for 3rd spot. There is you're riding along with Ted Musgrave in the Mopar Dodge. 7-time winner last year. He was the pole sitter at Daytona back in February. And here's a couple of young drivers that have a world of talent, and they are racing as David Starr very loose a moment ago down in the corner.
He had a handful of steering wheel there on the inside of John Wood.
Now Starr will have the advantage on the inside of the racetrack. Then comes Wood. Matt Crafton looking to the inside of John Wood, falls back in line. Here comes Rick Crawford in the 14 truck. That is 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th position as Crawford tried to take 12th away from Matt Crafton. Crafton pulls him by half a truck length.
You know, you talked earlier about John Wood being a 3rd-generation Wood brother. He actually had David Pearson here, who longtime driver for the Wood brothers, won so many races here at Darlington all over the country. He actually had David Pearson tutoring him on this racetrack. You could not have a better guy.
Absolutely not. David Pearson, the winningest driver in Darlington Raceway history. 10 victories for the Silver Fox. 6 of those coming in a Wood Brothers Mercury for John's grandfather, Glenn Wood. Just joined our coverage. We've had 2 caution flags here in the first 20 laps. First one on lap 5. The 07 spun Jason Small out of turn 4. Then on lap 13, Joe Ruppin had some contact trying to slide up in front of Coy Gibbs. His number 28 slammed the wall, and he has gone behind the wall.
Rick Crawford working on Matt Crafton before the caution flag. Rick was ahead of Matt Crafton, so Matt's obviously got by Rick, and Rick's trying to get back by him.
And we were talking about the Wood brothers. There's a look at the Navy Ford for John Wood. David Pearson, 10 races between 1968 and 1980. 3-time Winston Cup champion, was a Silver Fox. And the Wood brothers actually won 8 times here. Pearson won 6 of those 8. You know who the other 2 winners were driving for the Wood brothers?
I'm not sure.
Cale Yarborough and Neil Bonnet.
How about that?
So pretty good chauffeurs here at Darlington Raceway.
Without a doubt, Cale was awfully good here.
Cale Yarborough won back in 1968, and Neil Bonnet won in 1981. And the 6 in between all belong to David Pearson.
I remember Cale's car in Victory Lane, and the car was just beat all to pieces. It was sitting in Victory Lane.
Here's a challenge heating up for 3rd spot as Mike Bliss, who had a great run going on early in Daytona after qualifying in 3rd spot, only to have the engine go away. It was challenging for the lead down there. Early laps had the engine go away, and his number 16, this Steve Coulter old machine. Now he's challenging for 3rd spot on the inside of Robert Presley. And Bliss knows that he better get the moving because this number 6 truck is coming.
Kevin Harvick started way back, and they're back in the 11th position, and he made some moves early on. Got by David Starr right at the start of the race, and but once he got to this battle, though, he's kind of settled in. So right now these guys are in the mode they've got to save their tires. Obviously, Mike Bliss wants to get by Robert Presley, but they've got to save their tires. We haven't talked a great deal about tires, but this racetrack is so abrasive, it just eats these tires up.
Well, let's check in on what's happening with Kevin Harvick in the pits with Ray Dunlap.
Well, so far, Jerry, they're talking a lot on the radio about being very tight at both ends of the racetrack. Harvick says he's real tight, so they're talking about pulling a spring rubber to try to make that their first adjustment here when they do pit. Tight at both ends of the racetrack for the driver of the 6.
All right, we'll keep an eye on Harvick. Thank you, Ray. Here's a challenge for 3rd as Bliss has been trying to work to the inside. Now has the move. Robert Presley will let Mike Bliss go, and he will take the spot away.
This is a give-and-take racetrack. Robert Presley realized that Mike Bliss had position on him going in the corner. He backed off, let Mike Bliss get in front of him, and look how little of time he lost by doing that.
Mike Bliss, a 7-time winner in NASCAR Craftsman Truck Competition, has been away for a couple of years, now coming back full-time, driving for Steve Coulter and Dave Hughes. Great NASCAR fans enjoying the sunshine and Craftsman truck action. Triple pits, top of your screen, the 1 of Musgrave, middle is left, or bottom is Presley. Let's go down to Amy East.
That's right, at the bottom of your screen is Mr. Experience. 2 wins here so far. They're going to come down for not 2, but 4 fresh tires. They're also going to put some tape on the front of this grill, try to get some more front downforce, and just get as much fuel in as they can. To Ray Dunlap.
Well, Amy, it'll be 4 tires down on this end, too. Ted Musgrave is in. They are going to make a track bar adjustment. No adjustment scheduled for the 2 truck except for those 4 tires. The crew comes around. Looks like a good pit stop going. Ben Holm on the front. Drew Blickensderfer changing the rear on the 1 truck. The 2 is about done. Back to Amy.
Well, we've got some trouble. They were really hung up on the right rear. It looks now as though the official's telling them, you got to get all these lugs on, guys. So now they're having trouble on the left rear. He's got to go back around and get them on for Robert Presley. One right after another, losing tons of spots off pit lane.
Wow, almost 35 seconds for Robert Presley. And remember, this is only, for those of you who have not followed the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, this is the first year that they were allowed to do 4-tire pit stops. So they did them in Daytona. They didn't have but just a couple of 3 stops at most down there. And I think that might have bitten Robert Presley and some of the guys for Bobby Hamilton Racing here. They had a couple of lug nuts loose. And NASCAR has been very, very specific about making sure you get every lug nut on. Speaking of Bobby Hamilton Racing, here's the one of the trucks involved in an incident that brought out the caution flag. What a tough break for Bill Lester. Had that great run in Daytona. Here's what happened a moment ago over in turn 3.
The 81 truck of Jonathan Price just ran in the back of Billy. Billy backed off there to try to get off that corner. Ran in the back of him. There's Randy McDonald caught up in it with nowhere to go. Tough break for all 3 of these guys.
Randy McDonald had a top 15 run in Daytona. Bill Lester would have had a top 5 or 6 finish, none except for an incident with 7 laps to go. How bad is the damage, Amy?
Well, it's pretty extensive, especially in the left rear. What they're most concerned with right now is that one of the fuel lines is being pinched off, so they're not getting any fuel into this number 8 Dodge. Bill Lester, our highest qualifying rookie, was really excited about trying his time around this track, too tough to tame. Owner Bobby Hamilton was telling him earlier in the week, you know what, just go out and crash one of these trucks and get it out of your system. Unfortunately, he didn't do that and is stuck with a crashed truck right now. They're going to try to see if they can get some fuel pumping through this thing and get him back out there.
A tough break for Bill Lester, who was the fastest rookie in qualifying here. Kip McCord and the company trying to get that truck dialed back in. They'll use a few Craftsman tools. Speaking of Craftsman, how about our Craftsman pit summary, where these guys came in and out of the pits. Musgrave came in first, out second. But the big loser, you can see pretty easily there, Robert Pressley, almost 35 seconds, lost 14 spots on pit road. Second page, you see some pretty good pit stops there. Good pit stop for the Star Group.
One thing we haven't noticed, Doc, is who's leading. Carlos Contreras right now is leading the race.
There's a look at Carlos. Had that great top 10 run in Daytona. Carlos Contreras qualified 6th at Daytona, finished 8th. Last time Carlos led was at Watkins Glen back in 2000, so it's been almost 2 years. And Carlos leading in the Hot Wheels Dodge. Well, for more information on what's happening around the world in motorsports, how about RPM Today, coming your way Sunday at 11:30 a.m. on ESPN2. The host is David Lloyd. And then, of course, RPM Tonight, Sunday at 1:30 a.m. on ESPN2. All the updates on motorsports around the world, RPM Today. And there's Jimmy Howell on the flag stand with caution flag in hand. Well, he has waved it 3 times today. The latest one coming out on lap 27, the incident up in turn 3. And Jimmy says 1 finger up. That means 1 lap to go, and we'll have green.
Doc, we're going to see now what tires mean at Darlington. Carlos Contreras did not pit. Part of the reason is they had a happy hour after qualifying yesterday. A lot of the drivers, especially a lot of the guys with experience, decided not to run that happy hour in order to save their tires for the race. They had 4 sets of tires for the weekend, starting yesterday morning. Some of the guys, if you ran happy hour and wore out one of your sets of tires, then you only had 3. Carlos is one of the guys that ran happy hour, so that's probably why Howard Comstock and the guys decided to leave him out. But he's going to be in trouble when they throw this green flag.
All right, so he did not come down pit road that time. We are hearing now from his pits that he may have come down pit road on one of the earlier caution flags for a quick check. So whatever the reason, he stayed out there to save these tires. And now he is being shown as the leader as we are set for the green flag back at Darlington Raceway. Jimmy Howell holding him down, waves the green flag, and Contreras jumps in that throttle for the Richard Petty-owned Hot Wheels Dodge. And Musgrave wasting no time, as you heard Phil Parsons say, those fresh tires. Musgrave's tires grabbed that racetrack and grabbed the lead away from Contreras.
Nothing Carlos can do about it, Doc. He could have the best truck on the racetrack, and if he had that many less laps on his tires than these guys with fresh tires, he's a sitting duck.
Indeed he was, and now he's being passed by other drivers with fresh tires. David Starr going by. Here comes Kevin Harvick in the 6th. Travis Kvapil slips a little bit, will slide back up in behind Contreras.
Carlos right now is doing a great job. He's holding his line. He's not running all over the racetrack. He's staying. He's holding the line. Let the other guys work their way around him. See, he moves up out of the way there while Travis Kvapil drives on the inside.
And there's the other Bobby Hamilton truck, the number 4, the Sunclear Energies Dodge for Brian Rose. Impressive 3rd place run at Daytona. He had never been there and finished 3rd at Daytona the very first time he drove. And now way up high goes Contreras. That'll open the door for Brian Rose.
You know, I think that this may be Brian's first start here at Darlington too. And I bet he says Daytona was a whole lot easier than this place.
And he's trying to hang on and get by Contreras. And now that will open the door for Rick Crawford in the 14. Let's check in the Crawford pitch with Amy.
Well, and Rick Crawford right now is telling crew chief Ray Stonkus that his truck is handling best in turns 3 and 4. Now he's a little nervous though that if he's too aggressive in turns 1 and 2 that he is going to quickly wear off that new rubber. He took 4 tires and a slight air pressure adjustment on that last stop. So Crawford right now feeling good in 3 and 4, a little nervous down in 1 and 2.
And here's a pretty good battle on the racetrack. Terry Cook and Robert Pressley They are battling back for the 14th position. Presley has taken it away on that lap. And a change to the lead up front. Jason Leffler. Teammates swapping it back and forth. Leffler now being shown at the head of the pack. Musgrave in second spot. There comes the 16.
Been real impressed with Mike Blish. You know, we talk about a lot of experience. He's not raced here that many times. I'm not sure exactly how many times, but I know he didn't run any Busch here. I don't think, maybe one race or something like that. So he's got very few races here under his belt.
And this battle will have to wait because we have the caution flag waving for the 4th time. And we are being told there is debris up in turns 3 and 4, so that will bring out the caution. We only had 5 caution flags total last year. When they came here for the very first time, we've already had 4 caution flags in the first 38 laps. Well, we'll have the NASCAR safety crews check the racetrack, and we'll come back with more green flag action from Darlington in just a moment. Some of the highlights, even some lightning from last year's NASCAR Craftsman Truck visit to Darlington. As they say that NASCAR's future stars always earn their stripes here at Darlington, and indeed that's what happened a year ago. Let's see if Jason Leffler can earn some here, maybe get a first Craftsman Truck Series victory. Making a move on the inside, and Rick Crawford will take the pass on Brian Rose, take the spot away for 8th position.
That's Kenny Schrader right behind him, brought Kenny with him.
Now the sun going down a little bit. Phil, you've driven here lots of times. This can play a major role. Whoa! We'll talk about the sun in just a moment. Here is Musgrave going by Leffler. As he retakes the lead, Musgrave has led 24 laps. Leffler has led a total of 14. Carlos Contreras led 3 laps after that 4th caution flag a moment ago. We talked about the sun. The sun does go down, and it can create a problem with the windshield on it.
Boy, it sure can. That's why it's so great now that we have the tear-offs. The guys in the pits can actually tear off a layer of the windshield. The optics on that vinyl are so good that they can tear off a layer, and it's like a brand new windshield, like a new lease on life.
Like a stick-on tinting windshield, so you can be able to see a little bit.
Exactly right.
And here, boy, ferocious racing back in the pack. Great run by the 90 truck, and boy, he's coming toward the front. Lance Norrick, the Express Personnel Services Chevrolet. Lance had a good run in Daytona after having trouble early on. Got a top 10 finish.
Watch Coy Gibbs there at the top on the left there. He's going to get up against the wall. You see him? Robert Presley right on the bottom of the racetrack, trying to give Coy as much room as he can. Here comes Matt Crafton on the inside.
And the Menard Chevy. So Coy getting a Darlington stripe in the MB&A Chevrolet. Coy being shown back in the 18th position.
As we've talked all race, that's not that unusual to get a Darlington stripe here.
First time this year we've had both the Gibbs brothers in the same race. We got Coy, who runs full-time in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, 29 years of age in this MB&A Chevy. And his older brother, J.D., 33 years of age, in another Chevrolet. There's the head-to-head matchups at Dover back in 2000. J.D. got the best of him, but Coy twice before has finished ahead of J.D., although J.D. out-qualified Coy this weekend.
I asked one of the guys if that would cause any problems, the fact that J.D. out-qualified Coy, and he said, I don't know, but he said Coy was a linebacker in college and J.D. was a quarterback, so I'll go with Coy.
And there's Coy Gibbs. Good run for Coy Gibbs. Let's check in his pits with Amy.
Well, it seems like the two Gibbs boys are always competing. You ready for this one, you guys? JD's wife is expecting their 3rd child due in August, and guess what? Now Coy's wife is expecting 2. She's due in September. Both trying to give Coach Gibbs his first grandson in the family. So I don't know what it is with these Gibbs boys. They've got that competition blood running through them.
That is J.D., by the way. I said Coy a minute ago. So J.D. expecting a third child. And we saw Coy's wife, Heather. She was jogging earlier in the week, so she stayed in shape, getting ready for their first child. And I don't think there's one thing that Joe and Pat Gibbs like more than racing, and that's those grandkids.
That's exactly right. They're an awfully close-knit family.
Approaching the 50 lap mark. Here's a pretty good battle for 13th spot. Carlos Contreras, the 43, gets a challenge from Lance Norick on board the number 90 truck. Express Personnel Services onboard camera for Norick as he battles by John Wood.
You see that thing at the top of the screen, Doc? That's the right there. That's the roof flap thing. That's when the roof flap comes up, that keeps it from going all the way down.
Now pretty heavy traffic for Ted Musgrave and Jason Leffler. Two lead trucks with the 16 truck Mike Bliss right behind him. Both teammates on the front row. Same thing a year ago. Had both Hendrick teammates on the front row here. Had Jack Sprague and Ricky Hendrick qualifying 1-2. Side by side action here. This battle has been waging lap after lap. Great action as Terry Cook now slides beneath the Ford truck of Brian Rose and takes a spot away.
Open a door for Brian Rose's teammate Robert Presley to get by. And Kenny Schrader right there behind them.
That is for 9th position. That's 9th, 10th, and 11th. Actually, this is the first of 10 races that Kenny Schrader will run this year in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. The veteran at Auto Parts Chevrolet had Mike Wallace driving his truck at Daytona. There is Terry Cook coming off that great 6th place run at Daytona. Let's check in his pits with Amy.
Well, they were very disappointed with their last pit stop. He came in 9th and fell all the way back to 16th. And if that wasn't bad enough, he needed some wedge out of that thing. He said, I am tight. And common mistake, they put 2 rounds in. So next time, making him even more tight. So next time, they got to take 4 rounds out. So a costly mistake dropped him back to 16th. He's fighting his way up through the field with an extremely tight truck.
So he's tighter and he's madder now because they went the wrong way.
You know, Doc, as Ray was talking earlier, that as the sun goes down, this track typically gets a little bit tighter. Right now, there are not any sun on the racetrack, so that's compounding Terry Cook's problems, with the addition of the fact that he put wedge in when they wanted to take wedge out.
Well, we have not had a Ford in the top 5 all day, but Cook's trying to gain on it. So is Rick Crawford, and the fans love it. There's the top 5 after 51 laps. For the 5th time today, triple split pits. Ted Musgrave top of your screen, Jason Leffler and Kevin Harvick on the bottom. Let's go down to the Kevin Harvick pits and Amy.
Well, Kevin Harvick has a Winston Cup crew working for him here over the wall, but it's not his Winston Cup crew. In fact, it's a variety of Winston Cup teams that have just pitched in to give Kevin his Ford tires and try to help fix that tight condition. Ray Dunlap.
Well, Amy, no adjustments down here on the 1 or the 2, but keep in mind they're putting scuffed tires on this time. They had stickers on that last run, so they'll be just a little bit slower. Guys move around to the left side on the 1 truck. This is going to be pretty quick. They should beat the 2 off pit road now. They are done. Jack is down. Ted Musgrave will be the winner off pit road, but the number 6 truck will pick up a position on Jason Leffler.
And Phil, a lot of adjustments being made down there to some of those trucks, particularly the 2 truck.
Exactly right. As we talked about, now the sun's actually coming in and out, so I'm sure the trucks are probably tightening up. So the guys are trying to keep up with the racetrack and making adjustments. You know, I was talking to some of the, you know, we call the 2 pit crew the Ultra Bad Boys. All those pit crew members are under 30 years old. I was talking to some of the guys with the 1 truck. All of those guys are over 30 years old. He said, call us the Ultra Old Boys.
Well, it did a great job. Let's show you why we are under caution here for the 5th time today. There's the buyer's choice 00 for Ryan McGlynn. That truck spun back on lap 56 just a couple of laps ago. And there's a shot. Great camera work, guys. Getting McGlynn up high. Comes down across the racetrack.
No contact with anything, but right now he had a lot of laps in his tires, so you know, these guys cannot believe how slick this racetrack is right now because of the way they just eat these tires up.
And good job by Dave Miller up there catching that spin up in turns 1 and 2. So there's a look at the 00 that spun, bringing out caution number 5 on lap 56 as they have all pitted. And we should be set for the green flag once again. Can anyone handle those Ultra teammates?
I'm not too sure. We've got, I think Mike Bliss is awfully good. Kevin Harvick's awfully good. So right now they seem to be the best chance to beat these Ultra guys.
Brian Rose stayed out in the Bobby Hamilton Racing, the Sunclear Energies Dodge. He is being shown as the leader. Brian in the number 4. Also staying out, Lance Hooper, who had a great run. There's the Sunclear Energies number 4. Lance Hooper, brand new sponsor coming on board for Lance for the remainder of the year. Diamond Cut Jeans and Blair.com Dodge for Lance Hooper, who had a great run in Daytona, was running 4th while involved in an incident with 7 laps to go, which was not his own doing. He's being shown in 2nd spot. Bobby Dotter back in 3rd spot in the 08. There's our Craftsman pit summary. Musgrave came in out 4th, Leffler 2nd to 6th. Look at Harvick in 3rd, out 5th.
Big loser appears to be Mike Bliss, came in 4th, out in 10th.
Dennis Setzer lost 4 spots. Our Craftsman pit summary letting you know where the drivers came on and off of pit road. Still believe Mike Bliss will be a factor before this day is over. Awfully good on the tough racetracks on the IWX Motor Freight Chevrolet. Remember, all the trucks in front of the 1 did not pit. They have older tires as we are set for the green here, coming out on lap number 59.
That's Jason Small, who actually started at the very front of this field. He was on the tail end of the lead lap. He was allowed to do that. Right now, he needs to stay in front of these guys and hopefully catch a caution flag to be able to pull all the way back around, get his lap back. But he's got some guys coming with some fresh tires. Kevin Harvick in the 6th truck making his way by Lance Hooper.
And Musgrave goes down to the middle groove, goes by Rose, who's almost in the wall, now goes by Small.
Clear, all clear. Nice job, Ted. All right, hit your marks now, buddy.
Ted said, I'm not going to waste any time. I'm going to pass these guys and move away. And Musgrave is setting sail. Here goes Harvick in the chase. A little bit of smoke out of that left rear tire, maybe rubbing again with that low air pressure.
I think the same thing. These guys will let the air pressure down in these tires because they build up so much air pressure. They want to start down low, so when it builds up, it's not too excessive.
Battle for 6th position. Here comes Presley, Bliss. David Starr is there.
Been up in the top 10 the whole race, doing a great job in the 75 Spears truck.
Great action here at the track, too tough to tame. You know why the fans love to come here to Darlington Raceway. They've been coming since 1950. David Starr going by the lap truck of the rookie Jason Small. There's David, started back in 9th, currently in 5th spot.
Clear.
Dave McCarty's the crew chief on that 75 truck right there. David Starr. Dave was Rich Pickles' crew chief when he drove for Darrell Waltrip back a few years ago.
Exactly. Dave did a great job for Darrell Waltrip when Darrell ran a NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series team. And here's Jason Leffler, currently back in 3rd spot. Let's check in his pits.
Well, Jerry, they're running a little bit hot right now. Jason said the water temperature went way up on the gauge and they spit a little bit out onto the windshield. So he needed to get some clean air, and he's done that now by getting around the Ford truck. So he is back into 3rd position, but a little bit hot.
And there's the Jason Leffler pit as they are sitting watching this young man, impressive driver, 3-time USAC midget champion. There's his teammate in the Mopar Dodge, Ted Musgrave. Musgrave has led 4 times for 45 laps, 7 career wins. He came full-time to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series last year to drive for Jim and Marlene Smith.
See, Rick Crawford, he was waving at Travis Quapple behind him in the 60 Cat truck. These guys are racing for the 8th position right here, with Dennis Setzer back in 10th.
And there's a look at Rick Crawford out of Mobile, Alabama. 43 years of age. And here comes Terry Cook. And he is pedaling toward the front in a hurry, Amy.
Well, he sure is, Jerry. Remember, he needed those 4 rounds out because he had that tight truck from the mishap on the first round of pit stops. Well, he got the 4 rounds out, but he also got some fuel without a catch can man. went out 22nd. So if you think Terry Cook was mad before, you can bet he is fired up now.
Well, he was fired up after Daytona because he came from 20th to finish 6th. And after the race and post-race inspection, they were fined $10,000 and 100 points for just a minimal discrepancy in the cylinder head ports being off. So they were fired up coming in. This team here, Ron and Bob Keselowski, won a win at Darlington. Has never won a NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race. Heavy traffic. Here comes Harvick on the inside.
Got a lap truck there, side by side, right at the start-finish line.
And they push and shove. Harvick on the inside. Final lap. He wants it. Can he get it? They are side by side, and Sprague will get it by 6 feet.
How about that? What a finish.
We came up a little short. That's the most fun I've had in a race car in a long time.
And that was last fall at Richmond International Raceway in Richmond. What a great run he had. He and Jack Sprague battling down to the checkered flag. Kevin Harvick, 8 Busch Grand National wins, 2 Winston Cup victories, both coming last year at Atlanta and Chicagoland. Busch Series champion, Winston Cup Rookie of the Year. But folks, in 71 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series starts, his best finish second 4 times. He has never won, but he is pedaling hard today, and he squeezes down between 2 trucks down the back straightaway, running in second spot.
Kevin's got a little bit more motivation right now. We're on lap 70, lap 75. We got a little bonus coming, Doc.
And the folks from Craftsman will pay $7,500, the leader on lap number 75. Here's a battle. Dennis Setzer on the inside, trying to get to the inside of Brian Rose. Whoa, heavy contact. There is Larry Gunzelman. And the 81 truck that's involved, that is Jonathan Price. And that will bring out caution for the 6th time today. Now remember, lap 75 pays $7,500. If you pit, you can be on pit road and not lead that lap. So the interesting to see what some of these guys do. There's the heavy damage to Larry Gunzelman's truck. Larry, the former Winston West Series regular, now a regular here in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Let's check in the pits with Ray.
Well, Jerry, just a couple laps ago, coming down the front stretch, the number 81 truck made some serious contact with the 63 of Larry Gunzelman right on the front straightaway because they were in some pretty heavy traffic, and that may have been what set up the crash that just came out here. It looked to me like that fender had worn in on the right front tire on the 81 of Jonathan Price.
There is Jonathan Price and his Chevy. Caution coming out on lap 72 for the 6th time.
See him right there, Jonathan Price. Looked like he got into the outside wall, and Larry Gunzelman had nowhere to go and ran into the back of him.
So heavy damage on the front of that Waterloo tool storage Ford. Take a look from Jason Leffler's onboard camera.
Looked like there was some contact right there, maybe with that truck that's up against the outside wall.
And that will bring out caution for the 6th time. Safety crews are on hand to attend to Jonathan Price. We'll update everything when we come back to Darlington Raceway in just a moment. And there's Bobby Hamilton, who's got 3 trucks running, actually 2 still on the racetrack, watching his impressive drivers.
Casey Atwood standing there watching with Bobby. Another one of the Nashville products.
Getting set for the restart after the 6th caution flag of the day.
Ready, green, green, green.
And by taking the green flag on lap 75 at the head of the field, Ted Musgrave will win $7,500. Remember, it's the 75th anniversary for Craftsman, the series title sponsor. They put up that big cash for the leader on lap 75, and Musgrave just pocketed that $7,500 by leading lap 75.
Pretty good chunk of change, too. We got Terry Cook looking on the inside of Brian Rose. Whoa, gets a little loose coming off the corner.
And they are still side by side. It's 1.5 grooves in turn 1, and Rose has the high line. Cook hangs tough on the bottom.
Here's where it gets narrow.
And right behind him, great shot from the onboard camera on the number 90 truck, the Express Personnel Services Chevrolet for Lance Norris. Great shot of how bad that sun can get in the windshield.
Absolutely. And then it gets dark all of a sudden. So do the guys wonder, do I need to wear a clear lens or do I need to wear a dark lens?
That's Braden Gaughan in the 52 truck trying to get beneath Brian Rose. Here comes Norick as they touch. Rub a little sheet metal coming off the corner.
Corey Gibbs pulling up on the inside, getting by Matt Crafton. Almost made it 3 wide.
And looks like the Ford is struggling a little bit, Amy.
Well, he sure is. Let's not forget that last caution when everybody came down pit lane lap 56. Brian Rose stayed out, so he has a lot more laps on those tires than the other competitors he's racing with right now.
Whoa. Contact Terry Cook and Dennis Setzer, and they both straightened it up. Cook came flying up on the inside of Setzer. Setzer didn't see him coming. They come together. Setzer gathers it back in, but we do have one truck, Steve Portengay, the Roto-Rooter Chevy, and the caution is not out. Portengay has got that truck refired and headed back, but has some front end damage.
The leaders flashed by. See Steve Portengay on the inside. They're running slow. I don't think this is going to necessitate a caution flag.
And how
this one will, though.
This might. We've got 3 trucks involved. There is Trent Owens, who had a great run going. Randy McDonald, as those two spin. There's the Dickies Ford of Owens. McDonald backing away here on lap number 80, 81, as they bring out caution number 7. And the 51 also involved, has some damage on the left rear.
Michael
Dockett.
It's a flat left rear tire right there on Michael Dawkins' truck. Watch this battle right here, Doc. Look at Kenny Schrader on the inside making it 3 wide. And watch Terry Cook come.
Wow. Cook got loose and they got to get to the side of Setzer. They both gathered back in. Here comes Quapple, and while all this is happening down the back straightaway, the 39 spot of Steve Portengay, he gets it righted, pulls out right in front of the leaders, and then this happens going into the turn.
That's Steve right there. That was his spin. He's going to hit the inside wall right there a little bit. There's some damage. You see the hood bow up.
And here's the next wreck here entering the turn. McDonald involved, Trent Owens involved, the 51 of Michael Dawkins spinning.
Looked like Michael Dawkins spun, and that Trent Owens and Randy McDonald were just really trying to avoid him and got together and also spun.
Trent Owens had a good run going in that Dickies Ford. Well, that will bring out caution for the 7th time a day as the spotters are on the roof. It's Musgrave, Harvick, Leffler, Presley, and Crawford in the top 5. Back at Darlington a moment ago, Teray Claiborne from Sears Crafton presenting the check to Jim Smith and Gene Need for Ted Musgrave's lap 75, $7,500 bonus, courtesy of the fine folks at Sears Craftsman for their anniversary. And here's what happened a moment ago to bring out this latest caution flag. Watch this craziness.
There's some contact right there between Mike Bush and Travis Quapple. That gets them slowed down, gives Kenny Schrader an incredible run. What I want you to watch is Dennis Setzer. Watch his hands right in there. Watch his hands as Kenny Schrader goes by. Watch Terry Cook now. He's going to be coming from the right. When he gets into Dennis, watch the job Dennis does saving this truck. You see his hands right there moving? Look at him. He's still steering. What a terrific job of saving that truck.
He looks like he's swatting flies inside that truck, but his hands are moving back and forth on the steering wheel. Dennis Setzer, a lesser experienced driver, would not have been able to save that truck.
You're exactly right.
All right, get him down. Restart lap 84. Musgrave leading him down. Kevin Harvick in 2nd spot. Jason Leffler is 3rd. Robert Presley 4th, and Rick Crawford, the lone Ford, in the top 5.
We talked about experience early on. A lot of the experienced guys are right up there running towards the front. Now, we didn't mention Jason Leffler because he does not have all that much experience at this racetrack, but he's been in the top 5 every lap.
Leffler has a couple of trips here driving a Busch car for Joe Gibbs, and then last year driving a Winston Cup car for Chip Ganassi. But only his first time ever here in a NASCAR Craftsman truck.
We're looking out at Kenny Schrader's on board right now with Terry Cook. Terry was able to get by Kenny that last lap. I tell you, Terry Cook is a man on a mission.
We told you about the frustrations in Daytona for Terry Cook and Ron and Bob Keselowski and Kay and company. Cost him 100 points and 10 grand after that great run from 20th spot to finish 6th. Now he's moving on the inside of Mike Bliss. And Leffler goes by Harvick, and Harvick says, I want that back. Harvick goes beneath Leffler. And can he clear him? Yes, he just barely does.
Very wisely, Jason let off there to let Harvick back in.
Oh, they're both wrecked.
We see that happen so many times. We used to see that happen with the late Dale Earnhardt. He would let somebody pass him going into turn number 1. They would slide up the racetrack. He'd just drive right back by on the inside. What Jason sees right now is way up ahead of Kevin Harvick is his teammate Ted Musgrave pulling away.
All right, we have 87 of 147 laps complete at Darlington. Back with the final 61 laps in just a moment. And our NASCAR coverage of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series exclusively here on the Worldwide Leader, ESPN. I'm Jerry Punch along with Phil Parsons, Amy East, and Ray Dunlap. Glad to have you with us for our stop number 2 in the 23 race $12 million Craftsman Truck Series Tour. We are at Darlington Raceway, and Ted Musgrave has had the hot hand today. He has led 4 times for 70 laps. Started back in 2nd spot, has led 70 of the 88 laps we have run thus far.
That was a little more of a close call than he wanted right there when he was lapping the crash truck of Steve Portengate.
And there's Kevin Harvick making his very first start this year. Rick Corelli drove his truck to a very impressive 5th place finish in the opener at Daytona. They'd like to put Rick Corelli in this truck full time, but need some sponsorship help. There's Jason Leffler back in 3rd.
Doing a great job, pole sitter with a new track record. Stayed, as we mentioned before, stayed in the top 5 the entire race. Doing all he can do right now to try to get by Kevin Harvick.
And next would be our Daytona winner, Robert Presley. Currently running back in 4th spot for Bobby Hamilton Racing. They are likewise looking for a sponsor for that Dodge that won at Daytona.
And here comes Terry Cook, continuing his march. Just past the 14th for the 5th position.
Boy, Cook is really charging. Terry Cook on the left side of your screen in the 29 truck, Power Stroke diesel Ford. Now being shown in the 5th position. Speaking of the Keselowski family, let's check in their pits with Amy.
Well, I told you guys, Terry Cook is fired up out there, Bob. What are you telling him?
Well, I'm telling Terry, you got a good truck. We've had some disasters, but you name it just went wrong. I just hope we can get a good last pit stop here. We got a really good truck. We got a better truck on long runs. We haven't had a long run yet. And then any kind of a run we've had, and then it's been from the rear. So I'm hoping we can get some decent track position, get a longer run. I think we'll be okay.
All right, you guys, Terry Cook's not out of this thing yet.
Phil, I once heard a veteran car owner say, if I can't make my driver fast, I'll make him mad.
Well, he certainly did a good job of that.
Okay, here's Rick Crawford back in 6th spot, starting back in 12th. Good run for Rick out of Mobile, Alabama, in the 14 truck, the Circle Bar Motel and RV Ford. Ernie Elliott horsepower getting the job done for Crawford and company.
Good battle right there for the 7th position. David Starr done a great job, stayed in the top 10 this entire race. And Mike Bliss, who was battling for the top 5 early on.
Yeah, Mike Bliss and Steve Coulter on IWX Motor Freight Chevy. Dave Fuge and company. Bliss holding a top 10 spot right now.
There's Kenny Schrader, no stranger to this racetrack. Always runs well here. Qualified great for the Winston Cup race.
Yeah, Kenny Schrader will actually start here on 8th on Sunday in the NASCAR Winston Cup event. Big weekend for racing. All weekend, NASCAR Craftsman Trucks, NASCAR Busch Grand National Competition, and the Winston Cup race on Sunday with Ricky Craven on the pole. Here's Kenny Schrader. 28 starts in the Truck Series. His only win coming at Saugus back in April of 1995. 5 top 5, 2nd at Darlington, and this race a year ago to Bobby Hamilton.
That's Coy Gibbs right in front of Kenny Schrader. He passed Kenny Schrader this last lap. Coy is not running 9th. Kenny back to 10th.
Yeah, Coy having a great run here in the MB&A Chevy. after getting pinched toward the wall early on. There's a look at Coy. Great run by Joe Gibbs' youngest son.
Doug Hewitt, crew chief on board. Coy just can't say enough good things about Doug Hewitt. Really calmed that team down, doing a great job and having a great run today.
Doug George and company. There's a guy we talked a little bit about in the Open, Travis Kvapil, the reigning bestest rookie of the year for the NASCAR Craftsman trucks. Ran second most of the evening here last year in the Cat Reynolds Chevrolet. Rick Wren, the crew chief, on that one. For Mike Addington, he's being shown back at 11th spot. Then would come Dennis Setzer, and Setzer has been a cue ball. They have been bouncing around on Setzer and the Axiom Chevrolet. Good run by the 62 truck.
And so we saw the damage to the left side of his truck when he and Terry Cook made contact. There's Brendan Gaughan in the Napa Auto Parts Dodge.
Highest running rookie right now. There's Gaughan. Started back in 16th spot, currently 13th.
It's hard to talk about Brendan Gaughan being a rookie when he had a second and a third place finish last year.
I know, it makes it tough. Great action all around the track. Too tough to tame as the laps are winding down, and Delana Harvick watches her son, her husband, who runs in second spot. NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series right here on the worldwide leader. Second stop on the 23 race tour, and Kevin Harvick is reeling in our leader, Ted Musgrave. Let's check in with Ray.
Trouble right behind him. The trouble right behind it's Jason Leffler.
And the two truck of Leffler has spun, and the caution will come out for the 8th time today here on lap number 101. 46 laps away from the conclusion here, and Leffler the pole sitter.
Jason stayed in the lead lap. I don't think he hit anything, Doc, so he's going to be able to stay in the lead lap. He's going to come in like everybody else, get 4 tires. He's going to lose a little track position, but he probably will be none worse for the wear.
Jason Leffler running back in 3rd spot, spinning around, bringing out caution number 8 here on lap 101. He was the pole sitter, led twice for 13 laps early on. We can show you what happened here just a moment ago.
See, there's our leader, Ted Musgrave, right there. Here he is. He's already sideways right here. He makes a little bit of contact with the outside wall, but you can see he was all by himself, so just got a little bit loose coming off of turn 4 there. But look at the smoke, and these guys cannot see anything, but very luckily they stay to the outside. Jason stays to the inside.
Now onboard camera for Leffler will show you what he saw or didn't see.
Sounded like he just got in the throttle and just spun the rear wheels a little bit and got the thing turned around on him, but again, very slight contact with the outside wall. Now he's got problems. He ran around there trying to stay in the lead lap and get caught up, and he's torn up some tires. You see the left front tire there? See it flapping? That can do a lot of damage underneath the hood of that truck.
See the hood, see the Dodge bouncing up and down the left side of that hood there. Apparently either had a tire going down or cut a tire. You see all the debris coming up inside the car. Remember at Daytona we saw that from Bill Lester. Here come the leaders onto pit road. 45 miles an hour headed down to you, Amy.
All I want to do is win a truck race. We've heard Kevin Harvick say it time and time again. Came so close at Richmond last year and has a shot right now. He's going to get his last set of sticker tires on. No adjustments, a little tight. High temperature is not going to take any of that tape off, though. Just wipe that grill clean. To Ray Dunlap.
Well, Amy, Ted Musgrave's truck was very tight, and it got even worse because he got damage to that left front fender when he ran into Steve Portengate. They're going to try to pull that fender away. It will be a 4-tire stop here, and they're going to add 1 pound to the left rear in air pressure to try to make this chassis a little better. Pulling those fenders out, everything looks good, and Musgrave will get off pit road second, though, because the number 18 truck's going to beat him off. We're still waiting here for the 2 truck to get back around because they've got a lot of work to do.
All right, pit work, and Robert Presley will be the first among those leaders off of pit road here in caution number 8. Ted Musgrave, you heard Ray Dunlap talking about the adjustments. A pound of air pressure in the left rear. That fender, had to pull that fender out. And then Leffler is back in. Let's check back in with Ray.
Couple of flat tires here, Jerry. They're going to have to work on the right side first, and they will do that. Gordy Arbeiter is on the front, Jeremy West on the rear. They've got the right sides done. They'll whip around here to the left side. Rick Pennington gets the jack under there. Now they have to pick up on the truck just to get it up here. Now they need to do good service here because it's not going to make any difference on track position. They take their time, and Leffler will head back to the track, but boy, has he lost a lot of positions.
And it could have been a whole lot worse. He spun up there and had minimal, if any, contact with the concrete. The tire is just coming apart. Look at the steam coming off that tire where it just shredded as it was vibrating. That's where he spun. I guess it just burned a hole in it.
Yeah, absolutely. Just when you spin like that, it just grinds the rubber right off the tire.
That is called flat spotting in NASCAR terms. And there's all the debris coming in on Jason Leffler. We'll come back with a green flag. Some up to the inside off of turn 2.
Oh, he might have slipped just a little bit, but he still has a nose up there. He's going to get it going into turn 3, but what will happen if he slides up? Harry Gant will dive right back under him. No, he backs off. That's a smart move by Presley. Smart move. He didn't slide up in front of Harry Gant. If he can hold it on, he's going to win this race.
32-year-old Robert Presley comes out of turn 4, and Presley waves to the crowd. He will take the win. Presley slides it through turn 2. Gant on the outside.
Well, right back there, coming off turn 2 is where Presley passed Gant the last time. Is he going to be able to hold him off? No traffic is going to come into play as they get back to the start-finish line.
Here comes Gant closing the margin. 3 car lengths, 2 car lengths out of turn 4. Checkered flag, and Presley will take the win. Robert Presley takes win number 1 in 1993, makes it his 8th career victory, 2 in a row. And there's a look at Robert Presley. 2 of his 10 Busch Series victories came here at the track Too Tough to Tame in Darlington, and 1 in 92 and 93. And when you beat Harry Gant at Darlington, you have done something.
You sure have, and he beat him a couple different times.
And Jason Leffler going back behind the wall. Ray?
Not gonna yeah, Jason's declined to talk right now because he's pretty upset what happened there. But in that spin, when they made some contact there, apparently on the inside of the front wall, and that knocked the oil pump loose there, or knocked the belt off the oil pump. So apparently they've expired the motor here, and the 2 truck is done. So first 2 races of the season, not a very good start here for the ASE truck, and Jason decided he's just not going to talk.
Well, frustration's a part of racing, a part of motorsports. So Jason Leffler, our pole sitter, walks away. Back with the green flag in just a moment. And the green flag waves. We are restarting again here at Arlington, South Carolina. Lap 106 of 147. Robert Presley is your leader by virtue of a fantastic pit stop on pit road. What an outstanding effort by the guys in the pits there. Danny Gill and company had some help from some of the Winston Cup teams.
They sure did. They had some of the help from the Jasper Winston Cup team that Robert used to drive for.
And they just smoked them in the pits. And now Robert trying to hang on here in front of the 1 truck of Ted Musgrave. As you heard Ray Dunlap say, Musgrave had been complaining of the truck being very tight. They made an air pressure adjustment, pulled a fender out that had been shoved in some contact earlier with Steve Portengay. But right now, Presley is holding him off.
See, it's bright down there in turns 1 and 2, but if we get down into 3 and 4, the sun is the shade is on the racetrack, so the trucks may be acting different from corner to corner.
And the 20 truck is sliding backwards. Wonder if it may be a problem with Coy Gibbs, MB&A Chevy.
Inside, all clear behind the 75.
The spotter Curtis Markin helping Coy. You can see the Darlington stripe on the right side of his truck right there.
Let's see what happened to Coy. He came out in 3rd spot, and after a 4-tire stop, and he had some contact with the wall.
Just got into the outside wall. Kevin Harvick was looking on the inside, but they didn't make any contact. Coy, we talked about how earlier about how narrow this track is. When you make the slightest mistake, you're in the wall.
Battle for 11th spot. That was Schrader and John Wood. There is Brian Rose in the Sunclear Energy Dodge.
Lance Norrick right behind Ken Schrader.
Express Personnel Services Chevrolet for Lance Norrick. Coming off that great run at Daytona. Top 10 finish there.
A lot of traffic there coming off turn 2. Matt Crafton making a great run on the inside, getting by Lance Norrick. Here comes Dennis Setzer.
Setzer in the Axiom Chevrolet right behind the Menard Chevy of Crafton. There is Norick. Great action at Darlington Raceway. NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series stop.
Were they going to go 3 wide at Darlington, Doc?
Not the once. Now, you said this racetrack was narrow. These guys obviously weren't listening. They're going 2 wide in a lot of spots.
3 wide. I don't think it's wide enough for 3 wide. Maybe in the straightaways, but that's about it.
Now, Brendan Gaughan down off the pace. He was the highest running rookie as you see these trucks go by. As Setzer now getting racy, Ray.
Well, Jerry, Dennis Setzer lost 11 positions on that last pit stop, and the reason is the NASCAR officials gave these guys an extra man for the windshield, and that's the only thing that guy can do. Well, the extra man went out there, cleaned the windshield, and he also went out and cleaned the grill, and that's against the rules, so they held him for 15 seconds. Those 15 seconds cost him 11 spots on the pit road, and just like Terry Cook was fired up earlier, Dennis Setzer's a man on a mission.
Well, Dennis Setzer ran with the leaders for the first part of the race in Daytona until he had an engine problem. The engine locked up and cost Setzer a shot at not only a top 5 finish but a win, so he wants to roar back. Here is Rick Crawford in the Ford, number 14. Behind him, Mike Bliss, the Chevy, 16, as they are battling for 4th position.
Mike Bliss has a good run through the center of the corner, but then his momentum stops as he gets off the corner. There's Terry Cook following them in the 6th position in the 29 Power Stroke Ford. Saw some smoke from Terry Cook's truck as he entered turn 1 right there. I'm not sure what that was.
Here's the challenge for 4th spot. Bliss on the inside. There's contact. Cook is right behind him. Now there is smoke coming out of Terry Cook's.
Just went up in smoke. Watch yourself, Terry.
We saw the smoke going in turn 1 earlier. I wasn't sure what it was, and looks like undoubtedly an oil line came off or an engine problem.
You heard him say we just went up in smoke. Here's Randy McDonald in the smoke, who spun in the back straightaway, and the caution will come out. Also looks like the 48.
JD Gibbs on the inside there against the inside wall right there.
There's Gibbs and the MB&A Chevy. Randy McDonald also involved in this 9th caution flag coming out on lap 115. Smoke billowing from beneath the 29 Ford, and pretty heavy damage on the front of JD Gibbs Chevy.
Tough break for JD. I talked to him earlier and I asked him how many races he was going to run, and he said probably just this one. So,
and after a great charge and a challenge, Terry Cook is behind the wall. Amy?
Well, you guys, everybody down here has been so concerned about tires that a lot of these drivers today decided that make their crew chiefs, Bob Keselowski, put a higher gear in that truck. They really wanted to turn every little bit of horsepower out of that Ernie Elliott engine. Terry told me just prior to the race, it'll be a miracle if it lasts the entire 147. And guess what? It sure didn't make it. Terry's okay, but he's done.
Well, I'm sure he is hotter than that engine right now. He made it, he came within 31 laps of making it all the way, and boy, was he ever exciting, and what a charge he put on. But you saw the puff of smoke going into turn 1, and then coming off of turn 2, he just let go. And he, and I think right now probably he's smoking somewhere, as the Keselowski family knew they wanted to make up for what happened in Daytona. There's Kate Keselowski, the owner, up in the spotter stand. Back with more in a moment.
Okay, Kevin Harvick and Mike Bliss back in 3rd and 4th. There's Rick Crawford and David Starr, 5th and 6th place trucks.
Presley, then Musgrave back in 2nd spot. Then Harvick is 3rd. Mike Bliss is 4th. So we got a pair of Dodges, a pair of Chevrolets. There's the 2 Chevys right there, the 6 and the 16 of Harvick and Bliss back in 3rd and 4th.
Saw a little fire underneath out from the bottom of Robert Presley's truck. He got a little sideways coming off turn 2. The truck bottomed out. That's where the fire was from. Whoa, Musgrave in the wall.
And he scrapes the right side of it. Look, he sort of got marks down the right side of the Mopar. Now watch Coy Gibbs. Watch this save. Whoa, hang on, Coy. And
Great
he did.
Good job by Kenny Schrader, too, to avoid Coy Gibbs.
And Coy got it headed back in the right direction as well. Now here comes Harvick trying to, there's Coy Gibbs.
Look at the spoiler. Look at his tailgates coming off, Doc.
Tailgate the spoiler. That'll be awfully hard for him to hang on in the corners with very little downforce there. That just way up again in the wall again.
NASCAR needs to go ahead and bring him in the pits and get that fixed, because that's going to be a very, very dangerous situation right there. I think NASCAR is black flagging Coy to because that could fall off his truck. Somebody run over it and really caused a major problem.
Meanwhile, back up front, Robert Pressley is the leader. You saw Musgrave a moment ago come off the concrete, got his Darlington stripe, and now Harvick and Bliss are starting to reel in Musgrave. That's the difference between Musgrave, the second place truck, and Kevin Harvick back in third.
You wonder what might have happened to that to his handling of his truck, but it looked like he banged the wall pretty good by the looks of the right side.
When Bobby Hamilton called Robert Pressley about driving in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, Robert said, how many races does someone won in a year? They said, well, Greg Biffle won 9 back in 1999. And Robert said, I want to beat that record. I want to dominate the series. Take a look. Winston Cup starts his best finish second at Chicagoland last year to Kevin Harvick. NASCAR Busch Series wins 10, 2 of which came here, and 2 starts in the NASCAR Craftsman trucks. He won at Daytona and he's leading this one, so he could be batting 1,000 if he can hang on here in these final laps.
Doc, I talked to Robert yesterday and he said, hey, I probably could have got another Winston Cup ride, but I would have been racing for 30th, maybe 35th. I want to win races. That's why I'm so excited to be in this series with Bobby Hamilton Racing.
And speaking of Bobby Hamilton Racing, there is the Sunclear Energies efforts. The Ford truck of Brian Rose as they battle for 7th spot. Travis Kvapil in the Cat Reynolds Chevy is 6th and Rose is 7th. There are the Bobby Hamilton Racing entries. Brian Rose currently in 8th spot. Bill Lester was the highest qualifying rookie back in 31st, and Robert Pressley is the leader. Let's check in on the Brian Rose pits with Amy.
Well, Danny Rollins' strategy so far has been working out for the young rookie. Remember, he stayed out a couple of cautions ago, got the track position, stayed on the old tires. They waited, they came down with the leaders a couple of cautions later, put on the fresh rubber, and now Brian is doing nothing more on the radio than asking for water. He says, I am so hot inside of this truck right now, and I feel for him because it's not really a hot day. So how do you think Brian Rose is going to feel when we're in Kansas in July?
Wow, that's good. When it's 115 degrees in the shade. Wow, the Sunclear Energies Dodge doing a great job. Brian coming off that 3rd place finish in Daytona, the season opener. And there's the guy everyone's chasing, his teammate, Robert Pressley, out of Asheville, North Carolina, is the leader after 127 laps, 20 to go here at Darlington Race. Concrete and went outside a slower truck to go around Robert Pressley. We have 12 laps to go, and at Darlington Raceway, it is far from over.
There's his owner, right? Ted Musgrave's owner, Jimmy Smith, right there. Ted's hit the wall over in this corner at least 2 times that we know of. He hit it the last time around when he was side by side with a slow truck in between them with Robert Pressley.
Ted Musgrave has been unable to catch Robert Pressley, and he drove that truck all the way into the turn in turn 3 and bounced it off the concrete and made the pass. Here's what happened just a moment ago.
Look on the outside, boom, into the wall he goes, but he has some momentum. He's on the outside. Robert can't use the whole racetrack. You see him get a little sideways. Robert's able to stay side by side with him and beat him down into turn number 1. A little contact right there, but Ted beats Robert down into turn number 1.
And here it is from the onboard camera. Watch Musgrave into the concrete.
That was just Ted's sign to get back in the throttle when he hit the wall, Jerry.
And how about Jimmy Smith, the owner? Look at Jim. He's excited. Hey, they've already picked up $7,500 from Craftsman for leading lap 75. Now that was impressive.
Sure was. That was a great pass.
That's like the old days when he used to come run against the guardrail and bounce off and go in the other direction here.
Exactly right. We've seen a lot of guys bounce off the guardrail, especially in turns 3 and 4.
Less than 10 laps to go at Darlington, and Ted Musgrave has put on a clinic here. And folks, this is the truck that's leading here. Look how beat up his truck is. Got marks on the left side, marks on the right side. Flames coming from beneath this truck, right?
Jerry, Ted had said to Gene Need, his crew chief, give me a cue whenever it's 10 laps to go so I can make my move. He did that little deal where he bounced off the wall, and Gene come back on the radio and said, what are you doing? Giving me a heart attack. He said, hey, when you get a chance like that, you got to take it.
Wow. What an effort. Gene Need, brand new crew chief, coming on board for Ted Musgrave this year. They had so much success a year ago.
Had a great, strong second place run at Daytona in the first race we had.
There's the interval. Back to second spot. And Robert Presley, remember, there's the interval back to third. Pretty good battle for third between Kevin Harvick and Mike Bliss.
We talked earlier, Doc, that the veterans would rise to the front here, and we've got 3 of them that we talked about earlier: Ted Musgrave, Robert Presley, and Kevin Harvick running 1, 2, 3.
Harvick, the reigning Winston Cup Rookie of the Year. Also reigning NASCAR Busch Series champion, back in third spot. Mike Bliss coming back to run full time, where he won 7 times as a NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series regular. In the late 90s, they wage it out here in the final 6 laps.
Kevin Harvick wants so desperately to win a truck race. That's why he's here with this truck, to unsponsored, paying for this out of his own pocket. That's how much he wants to win a truck race.
Got Ed Barrier, veteran driver, as a crew chief. Ed, Max Barrier, and the guys working in their shop in Kernersville. There's the leader, Ted Musgrave. Then Presley goes back. Here's the battle for third spot. Harvick and Bliss.
You know, Musgraves looked awfully strong, but, you know, the reason he got by Robert Presley was a slow truck. Now, that same thing could happen to Ted Musgrave. Allow Robert Presley to catch up.
We showed you earlier how good Presley has been here over the years. He won Busch Series events in '92 and '93, beating one of the best, Harry Gant. The interval now is 64/100ths of a second.
He gained about 4/10ths of a second over that 5-lap period. We're getting down now. There's only 4 laps to go.
Ted Musgrave, worst finish in 2001 in NASCAR Craftsman Trucks competition came right here at Darlington Raceway. He finished 31st, had the window net come down, had problems on the racetrack, problems on pit road. Came roaring back this year with a vengeance, wanting to make up for the disappointment of Darlington in 2001.
You're going to catch Matt Crafton. You see Matt pull over to the inside, let the leaders go by on the outside. Hey, Robert's coming, Doc.
The interval down to less than 5/10ths of a second. It is 4 truck lengths with 2 laps to go at Darlington. This is Darlington Raceway. This is why the drivers and the fans enjoy the competition here. 3 truck lengths. It'll be the white flag next time by for Ted Musgrave. 2 veterans battling it out, and the granddaddy. And whoa, there's contact. Musgrave slows. Here comes Robert Presley.
White flag. White flag, no caution flag.
White flag that time by as Musgrave slowed. So did Robert Presley. This is the final lap at Darlington. In the Craftsman Anniversary 200, they are less than a mile from the checkered flag. Presley has his foot in the throttle. Musgrave has him by 4 car lengths, 4 truck lengths. Here's the battle for third spot. Bliss has gotten by Harvick. And out of turn 4, Ted Musgrave will come across by 4 truck lengths and win over Robert Presley. The battle for third goes to Mike Bliss over Kevin Harvick. We'll come back and talk to Ted Musgrave, his 8th career victory, coming where he had so much disappointment a year ago. With 46-year-old Ted Musgrave.
And Jerry, it's career win number 8. Truck owner, I should say, Jim Smith here. Look at the side of this truck. Walk through here and tell me about this. You got a ripped up fender. You slammed it into the wall. You got marks all over it. How in the world did you win this race?
It's Darlington. I had my dad riding with me. We always talked about winning the Darlington race, and when we built engines back when he raced, and never won Darlington. Had a lot of chances, so this one's from my dad. I hope he remembers this one.
Talk about that, slamming it up against the wall to get around the 18 to get the lead there late in the race.
Well, like I said, we got the left front all busted up. I lost all my front downforce, and the truck was awesome before that. I was a sitting duck, and I bounced it off the wall trying to hang on, and like I said, I bounced off the wall a couple times, and I just kept going, and I just had to make some moves in traffic because behind him I was pushing really, really bad, but it's just a will to win.
I'll tell you what, we knew experience was going to be a big part of it. Ted Musgrave with his 8th career Craftsman Truck Series victory.
And he gets a celebrate handshake from Teray Claiborne. There's a result on officially 15 trucks, or I should say 12 trucks, finishing on the lead lap. Congratulations to Musgrave, Presley, Mike Bliss, and Harvick. Rick Crawford from 12th all the way up to 5th. He's the first forward in line. How about David Starr? First time ever at Darlington Raceway. Brian Rose, likewise a first-time visitor here. John Wood, 20 years of age. The Wood Brothers tradition at excellence at Darlington continues. And Kenny Schrader rounding out the top 10. Trent Owens, an impressive 15th place finish.
Good top 12 finish for Bobby Dodder on the lead lap. See, Carlos Contreras in 17th, led the race early on, stayed on during the caution.
And trouble back there as the final finishers back through 36th position. Our next truck race, join us from picturesque Martinsville Speedway at April 13th, 2 o'clock Eastern time on ESPN2. And for Phil Parsons, Ray Dunlap, and Amy East, I'm Jerry Punch, once again congratulating Ted Musgrave on his win today at historic Darlington Raceway. Again, we told you to join us next from Martinsville Speedway, Saturday, April 13th, 2 p.m. Eastern time on ESPN2, the Advanced Auto Parts 250. Coming up next, NHRA qualifying from Gainesville, Florida, the Gator Nationals. It's been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Congratulations to Ted, and so long from Darlington.